I was amongst all these people back in the heyday. And what I've noticed is, and it happened to me, is that somehow in your innocence you push buttons in me and cause me to feel put down without intentional, and I either react with my old way of resisting and resenting and pretending, or I let it penetrate and see what you've triggered in me and grow from that. And what I've noticed is an awful lot of the people who used to follow you, they say, oh, yeah, I listen to Roy. And I say, well, why don't you come? Well, I can get it on the air. And what it is, there's something about the presence that people are afraid of.
Exactly.
And even people who come regularly are afraid of, and they manage to somehow isolate themselves from it.
Nice to be scary.
But you're a catalyst for that wrong side of us to bring it out for our presence. And people don't want to, it's not you, it's the spirit you found and it's working through you. And I think that so many people who should be here and should be coming once in a while at least are afraid that somehow you might trigger the other side of them and they don't want to see it. And some people manage to come often and they still don't want to see it, but they've got their little shield and they've got their friends on the side. And there are literally dozens and dozens of networks of people who follow you who don't come to these sessions and could, because they got their little following.
They're afraid of what's present.
They're afraid of the presence in you, the honesty. Somehow it's intimidating. And
Well,
I say, face your intimidation. Come anyway. Be
What was
willing.
that again?
I say to those people, face the intimidation. Come anyway. If it's true, you'll grow. If it's not, if there's nothing here for you and you're not intimidated and you're okay, you'll find out. Get up and come down and expose yourself to the energy that's here and see what happens. It's like a scientist wants to always test everything.
But
Let your soul be tested.
Interesting thing you're saying that they're probably watching me on TV locally.
Yeah, but it's crazy. And even people could even drive for 200 miles if they had to for the weekend and stay in a motel or stay in the ranch and come to the session. That's not a big deal. But they won't do it.
Now that's an interesting subject you brought up. And it's something I mentioned on my radio program. Would you like to say something?
Yes, I would. I reached a point in meditation where I didn't want to see anymore. I just this was it. I just didn't want to see anymore. And somebody told me here at one of the seminars that wasn't you. That's the other thing in you that doesn't want to see anymore, that doesn't want to be exposed.
But you see how many people are infected. Now, I have set a program on my radio show, and people won't call. I see a civil war coming. You know that. How many years ago, if you've known me 30 years, you know me, I would say there's a civil war coming. I see all the signs, demoralization. You can't conquer a moralized nation. You can conquer a demoralization because they all become bullies to each other and appeasers. Bullies and appeasers, and the bullies are appeasers to their bullies. And so that's what's happening. Is the tendency is for you to influence others or be influenced by others, and so that you're not who you are, no longer. And you see this country is divided now into two parts. And so on the good side, there's no perfection, but they are much better. They have values. They go to church. And at least they have a modicum of what it needs to be. On the other side, they're afraid of religion. Now, I have a few things to say about it, but I'm not going to say it now. Because religion is, if religion, all the religions, with the thousands of different religions, thousands and thousands of Christian this and Christian that, what the hell's going on? I was watching a good movie last night. Oh God. Have you ever seen, that is the best movie I've ever seen. It sounds like me talking.
Burns?
Yeah.
George Burns.
Yeah, George Burns. Yeah, George Burns. He actually was absolutely delightful. It was a wonderful way of, but the point is, even as good as that was, and it just tickled me, there's still a magic missing. There's a message missing in all the churches. As he says, what's his first name, Burns? George Burns. He says, the one thing it stood out, it says, God is not any place. It's not in a church. It's not any place. It's within you, basically. He doesn't live anywhere else. He's living inside you. What are you doing that for? But he just said it with more sophistication and humor in the movie. But it's well worth watching, because everything he said is what I'm teaching. And that was made in 1974. I was wondering he stole all the stuff from me. But he did a better job in writing the script. But the thing is, you're right. Now, if I give a lecture in Los Angeles right now, there'll be 500 people, 1,000 people there now. Just one time. And then run away. That's enough. I went. But you do keep coming. But even as you, my friends, you sense the fear of what I'm trying to wake up. See? And it is very difficult, because even the best of us tend to be afraid of light. You can have a certain amount of relief, and that's enough for now, please, not too much more. There's a lot to be said, but actually, it can be reduced to just a few words. That's why I have that meditation called, it's not Be Still and Know, it's 7 minutes. And there is no commentary. There's no advice as how to live. I've taken out all of that, which is even more scary. Because when you start to meditate, and you do it exactly with respect to what it says in the scriptures, be still and know. Now that's those simple words, and you can read across that over and over and over again and never know what it means. But not me. Bang. It sticks out. But I had to learn other things preceding that for me to actually get a glimpse of it. And the glimpse of it changed all the way I do things. I'm not going to give, I have a CD that it gives you lots of good advice. That's a very good thing. It's a nice lecture. It's a good meditation and answers lots of questions all by yourself, so you don't need me anymore. You don't need my presence. But it still works on a CD, the things I'm saying, etc., etc. It's valuable. But it's what is more valuable with a 7-minute meditation, you don't need me anymore. But it's still nice to have a camaraderie and to ask questions and discuss together. And I don't want to be a teacher. I would like to be a friend. I'd like to come to my party every Sunday morning, and we can sit and talk to each other. But even then, it's scary, because there's something inside all of us, to varying degrees, that's terrified of any tiny little piece of light. They're afraid of children. And how they deal with the fear of children is to like them, to love them, so that what's in them isn't going to hurt them. Because the little child is so innocent. They hurt by existence. So you want to appease it and to be loved by it. That's appeasement. But that's another distance. You've heard me say this before. You never heard me say this that way. And you've helped me to see. You've helped me to put it in a different perspective to it. So, yes, you go ahead.
Well, I don't know what I'm going to say, but I've been coming.
Would you stand up, please?
I get wobbly on my
Oh, you
feet.
get wobbly? Okay.
I've been coming for weeks and weeks and weeks.
And years and years and years.
And finally, it broke through. I'm beginning to see who I am and what I am doing. And I can see that in you, and I'm getting better. I really am. I'm going through a new phase in life. I'm going to have a different life. A whole
How
new
old are you now?
87.
Well, you look good for 90. No, actually, she
Yeah.
has a nice look to her.
I'm going to
That's
move
not an
in.
80-year-old woman, really. So there's something good in her that's keeping her alive.
That's what I said
something
it
good
has
in
to
there.
be.
It's taken all these years,
Yep,
but it
It
didn't
has.
have to take all these years.
I know. Because you know why? I never made room for God to come in. I was always going to fix it myself. I'll do it. I'll do it. Then when I finally gave all
And
that
who's
up, I know.
There is
I know.
no I.
And thank God for Charles and Diane, I would have been dead. They kept reminding me, and I didn't listen.
That's these two over here, right?
Yes, yes, and I want to thank you. And I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yes, thank you too. And of course, I don't look my age. But I'm not afraid of the truth. But see, what I'd like to share with you here, having heard what you had to say, if you listen to me on my radio program, I know that I'm scary. And in the old days, the only people that were scared of Jesus was the scribes and Pharisees and that kind of thing, and those who followed them, correct? And then you had Rome, and under dictatorship. So, and then you had Israelis, and they didn't have much of a complex. They were just poor people. And so when Jesus appeared, I'm sure those Jewish people that the scribes and Pharisees, I need to just make a point. The Pharisee believed in the afterlife, like Jesus. They accepted the Savior to come. That's the Pharisee. The Sadducees are not religious; they're just Jews, but they're not Jewish. They don't believe in the afterlife. They're just born Jews. They don't have any religion, in a manner of speaking.
Excuse me, that's why they're sad, you see.
Yeah, the Sadducees. Sad. Oh, sad, you see. You got it. But what I talk about on radio, if you listen, which is even more scary, because I understand how it all works, all the way back from the people who are suffering and demoralized and degraded and have a strange idea of what freedom is. It's freedom from being in a world where people are noble and have a light in them. And they're afraid of the light just like you are. But they're dangerously afraid of the light. See, the sicker they get, the more dangerous a little child is. See, so you see I'm making a point. Now, the point is the antidote. The antidote is inside here. So that, forgive me, I don't like to focus on myself, but you are talking about me. And you see there's a light. And by that light, you're able to see your own problems, correct? Especially when you ask the right questions and want the right answers. But even the best of us, Christians and people who believe in God or think they believe in God, or they do believe in God, but they do the best they can in 1,000 different ways. But see, the terrible thing is that they're caught up in addictions. So you have 1,000 different Christian ministers. Everyone will say something different. And none of them will bring you to the truth. None of them. They'll all you bring you back to church again. And it's an addiction. You come, you're not addicted, but you come because there's more to be said. And there's always more to be said. So you need this camaraderie. It's nice. It is nice to meet people. And then you start to glow. See? And you can start a little group on your own. And start a group of friends. But it doesn't happen. Everybody's sitting there wanting to hear what I'm saying, but cursing me secretly and not wanting to really. But they're addicted to. They're literally addicted to putting me on a pedestal. They get to that point where they're not learning anything. You're just putting me on a pedestal. Isn't he wonderful? Isn't he wonderful? Isn't he wonderful? And that isn't the way to do it, because other people, you have to have the light yourself. So they've got to have it. And so when I'm on the radio, I know there's a civil war coming. I know that I need to get as many people awake as possible. But look how difficult that is. So I resort to what Jesus did. I'll tell you what he did. You remember some of the story, but he passed a fig tree, and it wasn't bearing any fruit, and he cursed it. Now, why would he do that? Can anybody tell me why do you think he did that? What?
I'm just guessing he's showing he's identifying the bad fruit, the bad tree that has no evidence of what it should be.
Yes.
And he's saying, you are cursed. And he's showing that the power that is within him can actually kill a tree.
You're almost there. You almost got it. He killed the tree.
Yeah.
And it shriveled up to nothing, right?
Overnight.
What does that mean? But what does it mean? What's he trying to say? I don't want to kill people. He says, I can kill people. But he doesn't run around saying that.
I
Do
see
you
it.
understand?
I see it in my
You
life.
see with that tree? See what happens to you or thee? Listen to me. I say that this is not easy to say. I have to pause for a minute to find the words. But who was it that hung himself? Judas. Well, why did he hang himself? Why did he hang himself? Because he betrayed the light that's in. See him? Now, here it is. We do not know how many people died from hating Jesus. We don't discuss that. But I've discovered that it was so. They shriveled away. And in other words, if I go on the radio, if the light is the same, it will cure or kill you. And it doesn't make any difference to me which one it is. It works for me both ways.
I'm already seeing that in my life.
Huh?
I'm seeing it in my life, and it scares me because I never know what's going to happen. But I realize it doesn't matter what. I
doesn't
just walk
matter.
through the fear because whatever his will is his will. And if it is that one person passes and another person wakes up, I have nothing to do with it. But I'm not going to shy away from wherever I'm led to do and say.
Yes, but you see, I think you're now able to express it because I brought it up. I brought the subject up. And the subject is not colorful. It's not colorful in a sense. I maybe got the wrong word, but you don't want to see Jesus as a killer. But he is.
But he is.
He's come not, do not think I've come to bring peace. I bring the sword. And he says, and he gives them that even in a family, because blood, virtue doesn't transfer with the blood. So the argument would be the father against the daughter, and he gives the whole litany of that. He says, the sword, there's war, and you can't lose that war. So if you're going to listen to me, you're going to become like me. All the things I can do, you can do. And it's necessary for you to shine and to be persecuted. And in the persecution, you do not suffer. It's the person that hates you that suffers. In other words, he or she, or whoever listens, is terrified of what is inside. Evil is terrified of good. Terrified, especially when it appears in a human form. To the degree that it doesn't have to be a great degree. It frightens. Little children frighten ISIS. They want to kill them. Because they're the enemy. And in America, this is going to be the same thing. But the trouble is, we could lose that war because the Christians, which should be real Christians, don't have virtue. They only have verses and chapters. And they go to visit God in a church. He doesn't live in a church. You don't belong in a church. But you see, it's a good business. If you belong to something, especially a big religious organization, it's very powerful. You have a pope in Rome, right? And look how much money they got, how much power they have. I don't want any power. I just want to wake you up. But see, the dark side doesn't want you to wake up, and it thinks to you, and you think it's you thinking. So when you have a problem, having been influenced, corrupted, you're corrupted the day you're born. As you come into the world, I keep saying the same thing, the world comes into you. So you have a different guilt Adam did. See, it's different guilt. He did it willful. Well, you come into the world, born of woman, man born of woman, and you're into the culture. Now the culture is into you, but now you're still sick, and you're still guilty, or whatever it is, the feeling you have. But you start to speak and act as the extension of the peculiar extension of what your family's mannerisms are. See? And it goes from generation to generation to generation to generation. You go look all the way back, people drunk, people having violate each other, everything you can think of. I can't have the list of it because it's too dirty and filthy. But the whole list of it is there. In every generation, it's hidden in high places. It's hidden when you're rich and you can put on a face. It's in people who are in poverty and cursing their poverty. And there's always people who are looking for answers. And even looking for the answers is dangerous. Even looking for the answer, you get attacked. And you, for no reason to put down, made to doubt more than you do doubt. See? And so what I'm doing on the radio, and this will be heard next week, what I'm saying now. But I do say it on the radio. And I use my powers, or not my powers, but that light which is given to me, not to hold anything back now. Because America is such that there's no such nation that's ever been since Rome. And Rome wasn't religious sort of thing. It was clever, it was virtues, it had virtues. It had virtues, whatever kind of virtues they had, they flourished. But the minute you lose what virtue is, the minute you lose it, you begin to become vulnerable to the dark side of the force. And then once you've been corrupted, you tend to corrupt another. And the person who's corrupted, they can't stop. Through one man's sin and death, through sin spread the human race. So the whole human race is sick with it. But some of us are sick of being sick. Like you. Yes. But look at the percentage. Small. What we need, forgive me, what we need is strength. We need to have somebody who will scare the bejeebies out of everybody. And here I am on radio, you can't get to me. I can say what I want. I can be free. And I can say, listen, there's two of you sitting in a car, for example, and you're friends. But one of you is not really your friends. It looks like, you have a relationship, but you don't realize you're a slave of your friend because you want approval from them, that kind of thing. So you've got two people that seem to be alike. The liar, who's not really who he is, and he's got hold of this person who makes him feel better as long as he does what he sees him in a good light when he's not having a good light, but the other person doesn't have a good light, but he puts on a show of intelligence. See, and so here I am on the radio, and you're driving along the road. I'm just making something up. And he turned on the radio. He likes the nice guy wants the good guy, who's an appeaser, a little bit. They're friends. So they're not the same, but they look the same. They're friends. One's a fiend, but he doesn't see it. He's a slave of the fiend. They would call them a friends when they have a relationship. They're friends. So he turns the radio on, and he's listening. He says, "Who's that?" See, he says, "Roy." He says, "Roy who?" "This guy's crazy." What do you mean? See, but what happens if somehow the voice comes out of the radio and says, "There's two of you sitting in a car. One of you likes what I'm saying." Why? How does it feel? Hey, who's driving the car? How does it feel when you hear what I'm saying? Is it like a breath of fresh air? Yes, it is. It's a breath of fresh air. It's a validation of what they've always known and now doubted. That's it. I've described it. And the very fact that they like it is redemption. Right there. It's the beginning of redemption. The other one is the beginning of hell, because he gets so upset. And the driver of the car, the nice guy, he wants to jump out of the car. I don't want to be my friends anymore. I don't want to hear that. That's crazy. But I say to you, it's too late. You heard it, and you hate me. See, you resent me. I own you. I'm inside you, and I am. Because I have proof. I know exactly how to work it if I have to. But that is willful on my part. It has to be natural, and it has to be strong in listening to me. So what happens inside their heads is they hate what I'm saying. And when they hate me, they have a hostility towards me that opens the door for whatever is in me that's good to get into them. Because I say, you do this to people, you know how to upset people and get inside them and make them your slave, right? And make them come back out of guilt to service you, to appease you. You know how that works. Everybody who's corrupted needs the bully, the reassurance of the bully that they're okay. But you all become slaves. So you don't have to be worried about that when I'm speaking to you now. What I do is you do. Now I'm talking to the guy that's upset. You see what I'm doing to you? I'm doing to you what you do to others, but it's different. I'm upsetting you with the truth. I'm just telling you, I'm not pushing it on you. The fact that I speak to you this way without pushing you, without degrading you, without making you read the Bible, I'm adding things to it just for your sake. But I'm making the point. But it's much shorter when I do it. But I'm describing it to the audience. What is happening to that man sitting in the car that hates me? But he's not hating me, he's hating God. He's hating what's in me. It's not the same as hating me. So it doesn't bother me. Because I don't feel like he's hating. I don't feel that. But what happens is he gets upset because he can't upset me. Even if he's standing right next to me, he can't do that. And do you see where we're going with this? So, but what goes into him is not something bad. What goes into is something good. Now, here's the secret. If he's angry and wants to jump out of the car and walk away from his friend, that's a good thing for the friend. He hasn't lost anything. See? He's got a different life instead of being stuck with him. So missing him is not a big deal. But what happens to the person, here it is, where the fig tree thing kicks in. He's burning. He's burning because he has no way of talking to me. I'm on radio. It's worse in presence. It's worse in my presence. But let's leave it that way. Inside him, revenge is mine, saith the Lord. Whatever has come through me, and he hates me, he tends to get upset. Every time he thinks of me, he gets upset more. He's stuck with it. Just like if I upset you, if I want to be mean, I just say a few things to you and you really get upset, you walk away, and it goes round and round and round and round. Isn't that right? And you could pretty soon you have real problems, and you end up sometimes apologizing to the bully and trying to appease them, try to have peace. There is no peace. But in this particular case, coming back to it in its simplicity and sweetness, there's a choice. There's a choice to be redeemed. And if it's in that person somewhere deep down inside, he will wake up one morning and say, why am I being angry with Roy? He didn't do anything to me. He just told me the truth. Bang. Got somebody back. On the other hand, if he continues hating me, bang, is 10 times. There's information recently that it says an angry person has 9 times the chance of having an accident than a person who is calm. That makes a point. Yeah. So it's, God knows how many percentage is, if a person rejects it completely and decides to go that way, they begin to die and shrivel away. They are useless. They cannot hurt anybody. They're like the fig tree. They begin to get sick and die and have to be terrified to stand up to noble people, more and more terrified of a little kid, but can't touch him. There's more to it. Can't hurt him anymore. The little child represents me, what's in me. And so therefore it keeps him.
Somehow by saying this, you just took a fear away from me.
Huh?
You just took a fear away from me.
Tell me, can you stand up? Would you
can.
mind?
Yeah.
You are good looking for your age.
For an old sister.
Did I say something wrong?
There was a fear.
I just realized something deep about what
Okay.
you said. I think it has to do with death and
Yes.
something else. And by saying that, I understood deeply what you said about what that does, what the light does to the wrong person.
That's right.
And it was just, wow, okay, I'm all right now. It's not that I'm all right, but I know that I have a different job now.
It's
That's all
clear.
it is. It's very
you
clear.
Are on, you now you know
I'm
you're on the
very
right side,
clear.
and you have.
I'm
the
not
live-
on the fence.
That's right.
I can't be.
Can't be in the middle.
You can't be.
There is the middle is where good is. Is none of the above.
Yeah. And I'm okay. I'm okay with it.
I like that.
Okay.
Do you like that, Anne? I did. Yeah, I saw you did. She's taken 64 years to understand this, but she's sitting in the front row now. She used to sit in the back. It's nice to have that. Oh, she'll get better.
I understood for the first time what Jesus said when they tried to trick him with the coin and say he said what belongs to Caesar.
Yes.
Because the Pharisees had power, and that's what they wanted to keep. But a man who has God is not subject to their power. I mean, he's subject to the will of man's law, but he is not
The noble
subject
law,
to
the
yes.
noble law, yes.
And that's what they fear, because they know that you're subject to a higher law, and you won't forsake that law for their law. In other words, I have to buy health insurance because Obama says I have to buy health insurance, and they've passed a law, but I can still be subject to my Heavenly Father.
Well, that is not too clear. I get your point. Well, isn't it? You got it. You didn't quite get that. The subject matter is sort of dimmed it out just a little bit. Now, so good kills, and it really does. It frightens them. It prevents civil war. It prevent if I could talk to people and wake them up, and if they just tolerated me just for a little while and look at that little fear that rises when they hear me, and understand that there's something wrong and I am something right, in a manner of speaking, I have awakened. See, I'm the enemy of almost everybody. Everybody who has that, but everybody has that other self to a very varying degree. And some have that to a great degree, like this lady here. See, what's your name again?
Catherine.
Catherine. No, there's so many Catherines that sound like Catherines. But you are a beautiful lady, lost. You've been lost all your life. And you like to work for me. I have you working for me because I care for you. See? There's a method in my madness.
I know that.
You see? Now, what I want to do to you today, I want to fix you for good. I want to fix you for good.
I know you do.
Huh?
I know it's that spirit of you.
Are you willing to give yourself to your Creator? Are you willing to speak up graciously? You know what I mean by this? When he spoke about when the Pharisees, or they said, you know, the coin, he says, how did he say it?
Give unto Caesar that which is Caesar's.
I know the
and give
answer,
it-
but what do they say to cause him to have that answer? What was the wording? Do you remember it? Because I remember the subject, but the point is he never argued.
Taxes, yeah.
The magic is he didn't argue. He says they try to trick him. See, he says look at the picture on that coin. It's Caesar. Then give Caesar what is Caesar's and God what is God's. Correct? He didn't argue. There's no need to argue. There's an intuitive moment. He didn't know. He didn't really know what question comes to him. He has the answer to everything at every single moment. And there's no trying to figure out what your answer is going to be because you don't know what the situation is going to be. You can try to figure out, but when you get there, you've done all the rehearsal, and it isn't what they were talking about. You look like a fool. So now you need to learn intuition. You need to stand up for yourself. It's important for you when you see something wrong, either quietly consider it with no emotion. There's no need to say something. Then there comes a time to say something. You don't have to figure that either. It will just come out of you.
That feels like a pressure right
You understand that? You understand that it's all you are too busy trying to figure everything else and trying to fix everything is wrong with you, but you're playing God. You've got this terrible will.
God, it's unbelievable.
It's horrible. You've got this dark side inside you. So I want to do something for you now. Listen carefully. Look at me. Go to sleep. Go deeply to sleep. Deeper. And give yourself to me. I will give you back. Now listen carefully while I'm talking. I've just hypnotized you. You understand that? But I am the good person, not the bad person who degraded you when you were a kid and put the suggestions of how you should live all wrong. Right? I don't have to say what that is. You know what that is. So now I've opted in. I'm inside you. I'm going to talk to that thing that came through your parents. I'm talking to that thing. Okay? You leave her alone. You come out of her now. Come out of her or go down to hell where you go. But leave her alone.
It sits there right.
No, it's not going to sit there. Get out. You will do what I say and not what it says. What's the name of it? Does it have a name? No? Yes or no? Does it have a name? No, it doesn't. It has a presence.
It has a strong presence.
Yes. Go to sleep again. Now let me see if you are letting me talk to you as it talks to you. You can't get out of that chair no matter how much you try. I want to see you try to get out. Really try. Really try to stand up. Come on. Try, but you can't. Come on. I'm talking.
That will is so strong in me, right? It's almost
You-
like
you-
I can't do anything without will, Roy.
Sit down. Why did you fake it? What you fake, I said go to sleep, and you went to sleep. But you didn't. You just bowed. You played with me. I know how to hypnotize a person. I know that, but you never let me in. You never let me in. I want to get in. Not me. You have to have him in you. You have to let me in. See, you answered me perfectly. I only have the will. You got up and said, I'm still subject to that will. But you didn't choose me. You didn't choose me. You had an opportunity to choose me. And in other words, I see how you play games with me.
Yeah, I don't even conscious. I'm
Yeah,
not even
I
conscious.
see how when you work for me, I see you
but
playing
I don't
games.
even see it until you said
You're
it
not
now.
honest. You're not
You're
honest.
not.
You're not honest, are
I'm
you?
not.
But you're honest with money. That you keep that sacrosanct. Basically, you never.
Well, there's a principle there.
Yes, but there's more than there's more principle than just being honest with your business. It's the business of the complete dishonesty, in the sense that you are allowing yourself to be willed.
Yes.
But you see, I have come to speak to you to undo. If your parents have, if you are the extension of your parents, which you are,
I am.
yes, and that is the will of the world. Through one man's sin and death through sin spreads to the human race.
Yes.
So you can't help. Your father and mother couldn't help what they did to you, but they did it to you. They turned you into a weasel,
Yeah,
a appeaser.
I am.
Well, now you have this moment, and I don't want you to come back, because I'm done with you. I'm done with you, and so you either do it now or never. Which is it?
Now.
And go to sleep. Really go to sleep. Lose consciousness. Try to get out of the chair. Try. That's good. I'll leave you there for a minute. I know when you're playing games.
I know.
Now, tell me what caused you to be like you are. Tell me what you hate. Just talk to me. Recall. I want you to recall. Tell me what you hate. It's your parents, isn't it?
Pressure. They just they had this pressure.
Tell me the story.
It's
Tell me the story. You can remember it. Tell me the story. Tell me what you're holding back. Tell me what needs to be forgiven. Admit it. Who's are you subject to? Who is the one in your family? Is it your mother, your father? Which is it? I need to know. Or is it both?
both. I think my father was very domineering. My mother, she always acted helpless, like me.
So you took on her nature.
Yeah. My father was very aggressive, very.
She's an appeaser.
Oh yes, I'm like them, exactly like her. But
So you are playing. You're the extension of her.
I am.
How dare you? How dare you take on somebody's identity? How dare you take on a spirit other than which you were born with? You were born innocent. You are innocent, but you've been trapped into guilt. And you reacted to your mother. You had sympathy for your mother, didn't you?
I did. I totally
That's
do. Even
right.
now, I do.
Oh, is she still around?
Well, she lets me live with her because I need help.
So she's still appeasing you.
Yeah. But she's not even conscious. She doesn't.
But you are.
Yes.
So why don't you use the consciousness to speak up to your mother? Are you afraid that she's going to throw you out?
Yes. And
Okay, let her throw you. Speak up to her like this: Mother, I see my problem. I see that you are a wimp, and I understand you can't help it because you came from a similar circumstances that I have come from you. You are my circumstance. See, I'm the extension of this circumstance. So you are weak and feeble, and you married a man that is a bully. Okay? And so you hate the bully, but you see the sweetness of your mother because it's the better of the two.
yeah.
That's all
Yes.
the only choice you got.
Yes.
It's a wrong choice. Both would be wrong.
Yes.
Make no choices. Stop that choice now. Stop it now. Do not have any, do not, I can't find the word.
I know. What
Don't have compassion for your mother. Don't have any feelings for your mother. You will have to learn to speak up.
it's a trick.
Pardon?
It's a trick.
What do you mean by trick?
My mother,
Go ahead, but tell me more.
when she acts like she's
Or a trip, not a trick. It's a trip. Is that what you mean?
no, a trick. She tricks me. She acts helpless. But she's angry underneath.
Of course. And she's taking some of your life force away and giving you, so that you're obedient to her problems, to tend to her suffering with giving something of yourself. Let her drop dead. Do you understand what I mean?
I'm afraid.
You have to separate to the point to be honest until she cries, and you don't cry, you don't feel anything.
She goes crazy.
Let her go crazy and die.
Okay. I'm afraid of that. I am.
You're afraid of that because whatever life you've got is existing on that.
Yes.
You don't need to be existing on that. So stand up to her and say, Mother, I'm not going to deal with you anymore like this. I'm not going to give you any more sympathies. I'm not going to take any feelings from you. I'm not taking any more nonsense from you. You caused my father to go crazy because you appeased him. You appeased him and you appeased him. There's no such thing as any happiness there. There's no freedom in it.
Yes.
You want to be free?
Yes.
Be free from your mother.
Okay.
I'm your dad,
I know you are.
but he's not your dad. Correct?
He's dead.
So I have an authority.
Yes,
Then you believe me.
I do.
And you go back home and wait for the right moment. And wait for the right moment where you feel her pulling on you for sympathy, right? Mm-hmm. You know what tell me what I mean by that.
She just acts like she's helpless.
Yes, right.
But she's nice too.
But never mind the nice. Helpless is not really helpless.
right.
It's a game.
It's a game.
It's
It's
to bring you, to use you.
Yes. Takes away freedom.
That's right. Takes your freedom away.
Takes my freedom away.
Yes.
It does.
You got it.
Okay. I understand.
All right, now,
It's simple.
promise me you go home and wait for that time for her to do that and say, Mother, I'm not going to give you any sympathy. I'm sorry.
Yes.
And then she starts to cry. Don't feel any
She
feelings.
gets angry.
They get angry. And then she said, I'm going to kill myself.
Yes.
Don't say anything,
That's what
okay?
she
Don't say, go kill yourself. Just don't say anything. Otherwise she would. Because she's becoming suggestible to you. Understand that.
Okay.
You're already having control over her by not responding and not feeling sympathy. Do not have sympathy for anybody.
Yes.
If you want to do something good for something, just do it. But not sympathy.
Right. That's
You degrade a person when you degrade yourself and you degrade the person with sympathy.
wrong.
It's not a salvation.
It's not
a
my
damnation.
not my job.
Not your job to give sympathy.
Right.
So you need not to worry. She has been overcome, and she's overcome you.
Right.
It's a linear system.
Taking the position of God.
Well, Yes, in a sort of a way. All right, how do you feel now?
Free. Freer.
But listen, I will not talk to you again. You will not work in my house unless you understand this, because I'm not going to waste my time on you.
Okay.
I've spent lots of time with you.
Yes.
But just don't do anything different. You just agree and you nod your head and you nod your head and I nod your head and I know it's not happening. Even now, you pretended to go to sleep. I saw that coming. I wasn't born yesterday. You do as I tell you.
I will.
But I'm talking to you, the real you,
Yes.
to say no to the darkness that's coming up from your mother that looks like a sweetie pie.
Mm-hmm.
So when she feels upset and she wants to pull on you, correct?
Mm-hmm.
She feel that pull?
Mm-hmm.
Don't watch that pull and pull back quietly. See, and then you'll find the appropriate words to tell her. I'm not going to feel sorry for you again, ever. I don't care if you drop dead. It works for me. I want a life of my own. I want a God. And you're not, you're a dark God. Your father had no God because she was subject to her. And he tried to overcome her, overcoming him by violence. See that?
Mm-hmm.
And she became, all he did was embolden her hunger for him. It's more sympathy. And that sympathy, he wouldn't give it to you, but he'd just turn around and you give her the sympathy. She turned you into an appeaser. Someone that worships her weakness, loves her weakness. When you love somebody's weakness, they get weaker. Mm-hmm. And you become a slave for the approval, as if you have helped her, and all she's done is helped herself to you.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to do now? You have to open your mouth and wait for don't try to figure what you're going to say next. Do not think of what you're going to say to her at all. Wait for it to come, and you either say nothing and just watch your emotions, and so that you feel the pull. You know the little story I talk about the little girl? Maggie?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
And she calls me on the radio. It says, Grandpa, she calls me Grandpa, if somebody wants to give me something, can I say no? I say, do you feel the pull? And she, in her innocence, says, yes, I feel the pull, Grandpa. I said, all right, that's temptation. When you feel the pull, you don't go for it. The pull is dangerous from anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And anything, somebody yells at you and is cruel to you, you feel the pull to be angry. You just watch the pull. Watch it and stay where you are. But you'll be staying in a different place because it's something you've never done before. Yes. And you become refreshed with the Creator. That's how you become refreshed every time you feel the pull. But after a while, you don't feel the pull. Mm. It's so natural not to feel pulls. Mm. See?
Mm-hmm.
You just get allotted, that's all. And that's, so there's no struggle. There's only a struggle, as a childish struggle, like the little girl. She says, Grandpa, she calls me Grandpa, is it okay to say no to somebody giving me a present? That was a grandma. Grandma, I know, is a very wicked woman. Mm-hmm. Very wicked, and she wants to soul that child. Mm-hmm. Child is smart enough to call me at 9 years old. And she understood it. And when she did it, when she said, "No, thank you, Grandma," I said, "I warn you, she will go crazy and feel insulted that you wouldn't accept her gift, which doesn't mean anything. It's only a desired a means to control you, to make you subject. Appreciate what she does." No. See, that's what, when she did it, the mother threw the stupid toys, useless toys, into the garbage can and ran and never came back. Because I know the mother is really wicked because of what she did to her mother when she was 4 years old, that she let something happen that shouldn't. Have her raped by her second husband. See that? So, I know that woman's wicked. She used to be one of mine, but she just played the game. She didn't come back. You are going to be different now, or die. And I will let you die.
I know. I felt lighter. If I stay here, I will stay light. But I feel it. I know.
I'm dead serious.
I know.
It's life or death.
Oh, I know, Roy.
Do you want life?
Yes.
Then speak up.
Okay.
And don't worry about what they think.
Okay.
I've been thrown out of better places. When you speak up and they don't like it and they fire you, is where you don't belong. If you are Pisa, you stay there and you keep on being bullied. It's a lot, and then they let you go at some point and you go somewhere else and it's the same thing. You have no life. You don't have any future. You can't follow the purpose of the Creator for you. You're too busy helping other people. See, two people helping themselves to you, or you helping them helping themselves. You helping themselves to you, and the other way around too. Who understands what I just said? Did you like it? Yes. Your mother may drop dead. That solves your problem. Okay? She may just disappear. You bury her and you're free. She never was anything anyway. But if she was noble, if there's any an atom of nobility in her, she will get angry and then say to her, "Well, why am I angry with my daughter? She spoke up the truth." Same thing as I said with Roy. So either way, you win. It's a win-win. If she drops dead, you've lost the problem. It's pardon the way I say it. And if she gets better, you solve the problem. Oh, I got a mother again. See? Otherwise, it's just a piece of dirt. That's all it is. And people listen to me now. I do this on radio. And not one single person on the left, I say it's mostly on the left, not one single person will dare to call me. Nobody dares. I'm talking to lots of people, and they are listening, but they will not fight me. It's not me, it's what's in them juxtaposed to what's in me. So it's not between people, it's between forces, see, between forces. And so you can be loyal to one or the other. That's where you come in. So which do you prefer, me or the bitch that's your mother? Okay? And you're the bitch, a daughter of a bitch. Do you want to be that way?
No.
So what are you willing to do?
Just say it.
Yes. But do not rehearse what needs to be said. Wait for the pull.
Wait.
And say no to it. And maybe nothing said. I had a gentleman on the radio, and this is last week, about Thursday. You're going to get a copy of it. And I haven't had this on the radio program, what I'm about to explain to you. A man calls up, "This is my son just died." I said, "Okay, let's see. Well, what happened? Are you married?" "Yes." Where's your wife?" "Oh, she's married. She's married 3 times." You see what's happening to the boy? He's left. He has actually left home, and let mother take care of him with 3 other husbands. Right? So she's continuously being supported by mother. See, she takes the mother's identity. What he needs is a father. What happened to you? Oh, he doesn't know. All he knows, the boy finally comes back to the father, and he plays the role of sympathy. He starts to be sympathetic and loves him, just like a woman loves a man. And then he dies. I said, "You murdered your own child and didn't know it." And he starts to cry more. I said, "Don't you cry to me, you so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. Don't look to me for pity. You're a killer. You're gutless. You're the extension of your mom. You're an extension of Eve. There's a woman in you. And what this boy needs is a man. He's crying for you." And you should have said, "Well, I made the point." And I hung up on him. Don't you look to me for sympathy, because I'm not playing that game. And your son didn't need sympathy. He needs to be a man. So stop crying, son. I understand. You need to have that quality. Now, I left him befuddled. I hope he calls me again. But I will not give. He killed his own son, and parents kill their own children that exact way. They have a fight, the husband loses, and the mother gets to control all the children, to bring them up. And she has no business doing that. And there is an exception to it where a woman is noble. There's very few of those that can bring up children. Women can't bring up children unless she is special. They're rare. So let's put it aside. Most women destroy their own children. They either appease them or become like a wicked father, a bitch to their own kids. See? Can't help it. She can't help it either, but you don't have to react to it and make you the extension of her. That's what you've done. And it's not love. No. And you're paying a price for it. You're dying.
I am.
It's now or never.
Okay. No.
You can come, let's see come on. When do you come to work for me?
Let's see, when did I come last?
What day is scheduled? Once a week?
Yeah, you said once a week.
Okay. I want to see a difference in you when you come in.
Okay.
I'll know.
I know you will.
Otherwise you go straight out.
Okay.
Okay. Make your choice.
Okay.
You have a choice.
I do.
And the choice is free from doubt.
Mm-hmm.
You don't let people pull on you.
Mm-hmm.
See? But then serve them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Say, "Can you come tomorrow?" And I say, "Oh." Say, "No, I can't."
Mm-hmm.
Always be straight.
Mm-hmm.
I'll call you if I can. And call.
Mm-hmm.
All be everything nice and clear.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that is not difficult. Not difficult. It's natural.
No, it's natural. It's simple.
Okay. All right. Anybody else wants to discuss this? No, this is okay. Any questions, any problems? Do you see what I'm doing with this lady? It's necessary. That's what a father does. He doesn't stand for sentimentalism of any kind. A man's a man, and he wants the woman. He talks to the woman in a way that I find a way of saying it. He speaks to a woman with authority, but only if he finds God first. It can't happen. Man born a woman is subject to the woman, and so are all the children. And in politics, you put politicians on the doorstep of every woman, make them unhappy with washing the dishes and taking care of the kids. Your husband is free to do what he wants. No, he has to work hard. But the point is, the devil is talking to Eve politically like the doorstep. And once you get into a political party, which you have right now, it will always side with the woman and degrade the man. He's only a sperm donor, that's all he is. You're the one that has love. That's a lie. I have love for you, but it isn't
No.
kissy.
No.
It's correcting you and not caring if you hate me. Just do it anyway. So let her hate herself to death if necessary. Let her hate you to death. Say, nice. I wish it wouldn't happen, Mother, but I'm not going along with you. So you're going to have to come, and you might save her life.
But
Well, if she stops living on you, she's going to go to somebody else to suck on, but there isn't at her age. Correct? She'll go mad, or she gets better. That's her choice. La-di-da-di-da-di-da. That's the way it works. And you won't find anybody saying this in America, will you? So my fellow Americans, don't be afraid to speak up to your next door neighbor. Because you don't know when civil war comes where you stand with that person. But if you talk to them in a way that I have spoken to you, you may insult him and he doesn't want to speak to you anymore, but you know who he is. See that? It's a value. You don't need a friend. You don't need this so syrupy friend next door. He can hate you and drop dead. But your life will go on to where it should be. And he goes on the way it shouldn't be. And there's such subtlety, there's such magic in what I've tried to express. It's pure magic. It's magic as it can be magic. Because it's simply who you are and how you affect the person. And conversely, if you're rotten so-and-so, it's who you are and the effect you have. It's a metaphysical effect. We represent missing powers. The bad guy on one side is subject by something you can't see, but is powerful, destructive. On the other side, there's something that's magical and live forever. In a way, we can talk about that 1 week. What kind of human being is growing inside you? So when you drop your mortal coils, there's another person standing there forever as the Son of God and the child and the woman of child of God. That's all. It's that simple. Speak up. Say yes or no.
yes.
See, but say yes or no to people. No, thank you. Why not? I said, I don't want to. It's none of your business. Don't be afraid to be rude. Not rude. Just say none of your business. Why? I don't have to say why. And shut them up. Make sure you don't argue. Just enough. See, very simple. Like Jesus, with a gold coin. He doesn't give much of an answer. Okay, it's tricking him. Give to Caesar what is Caesar's. Simple. And then he's standing in front of this lady who is guilty of adultery. And he speaks to them, and they're picking up the stones. I forget the dialogue, but he says, okay, just a minute. Who has no guilt, throw the first stone. I know. What was it? What was
He who is without sin.
Huh?
He who is without sin.
Yes, he without sin, first throw the first stone. That is so simple. That is spontaneous. And they all drop their, the power of it. The power is not him arguing with the crowd. He just says something so magical that it paralyzes all of those other people, just like that one. And in order, from the oldest to the youngest, because they were the most sinners, because they lived long enough in that sin. So that's the first one that drop it. It's magic. It's magic to be magical, mysterious. It's hard to explain, but have I not done a fair job in helping you to understand? I used her as a means of getting you to see you. Isn't that right?
And you may lose many friends.
You may lose, but they're not friends. You've got to be careful, because the friends that you have are mostly fiends, and they'll turn on you sometime. You might as well just let them go. They like you that way or don't. And there were people, you like me. The reason why you're here, I've known you for 40 years, right, maybe?
Yeah.
And we're still friends. And I see you once in a while. Nice to see you. And then we're friends, not fiends. Or friends.
I like that.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Well, you can sit in the sun and chat with each other. That would be nice. Thank you.